Okay, I think I'm live. I just got to turn off the volume on my video. I'll just wait for some people to come on here. All right, I got the live stream pulled up on my laptop, so I'm just waiting for it to pop on. It lags behind a little bit from what I'm saying. Yep, it's on. Let's see if it's in the right format. Oh yeah, we're good to go. So I'm gonna go back to studio. Never gonna believe it. Hey Leisure, how's it going? It's been kind of muggy and raining every couple days here. Today it didn't rain, but a couple days before, and then it's supposed to rain the rest of the week. But Benny showed up again today and got me another bottle of root beer. Said he got this one down in Iowa. It's genuine Hank's Gourmet Philadelphia recipe root beer. Oh, and it's a twist top. Just got a message. Let's see what it says. I think it's a notification. Hey, Michelle. Hey, JD. Benny brought me another root beer. He's bringing his 63 Impala in on Thursday. But I no longer have to do the transmission. Now I got to do the air conditioning. Yeah, that's not bad. Hey, Nate, how's it going? Hope it hasn't been too warm at the shop or your plant, the fabrication plant. Yeah, I don't have my analytics up here. Now they're up. Okay. See how Benny was thinking about me, and then he said he's going on some more trips after we fix the Impala, so he said he'd look out for some more root beer for me. This is number 10. He's gotten me 10 bottles of root beer. Yeah, I suppose when you work over there that many years, you get used to it. So I got last Saturday we had 8 oil changes, and then after I got all the oil changes done, I was behind on a customer's car, so I had to do the pinion seal in a Buick Enclave. You got to pull this torque tube off. The seal's behind there. There's not supposed to be any oil in here, but I got this all cleaned off right now, but it was leaking out here where the dry shaft goes on. Not supposed to leak out there. So I already got the new seal in and I got it cleaned up, but figured I'd take a picture of that. So I did that Saturday after oil changes were done. I think I brought this in, Michelle, like at 5:30. So we worked all day. Michelle, you want to try this root beer that Benny brought us? Yeah, Michelle's going to go over. She's going to come over and try this root beer. Benny brought me 2 bottles of this. He really looks out for me. I couldn't figure out where it's made, though. Hank's Beverage Company, and there's no state. Guess I'd have to look it up. So Michelle's trying it.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. What are you doing?
I'm making a meat and cheese roll-up.
Well, make me one.
Okay.
So, yeah. North Korea? No, I hope not. I'm not going to drink nothing from North Korea. I'm assuming it's in Philadelphia because it says Philadelphia recipe. I don't know. Someday I'll look it up. Probably not today.
Here you go.
Michelle made me a snack. It's got cheese and salami.
Summer sausage.
So I did the Buick Enclave. Yeah, I know. I got it. Philly, probably. So did the Buick Enclave after they ate oil changes. Yeah, it was busy, but we rolled them right in and out. JD's looking it up. JD's the one of all the service data that I don't have. And then my batteries came in for the motorhome the other day. Got some big 8D batteries. So they came in yesterday, and then I also put them in the same day. I just moved some of these pictures around. Here's a picture of the old batteries in there. Yeah, you're not going to believe it when I tell you, though. Here's a picture of me changing them out on the passenger side. So the old batteries, there's 4 of those. I was just doing the passenger side. Great big cell phone tower batteries. Yeah, right here. I put my creeper up beside them. But the new batteries, the old batteries just went last week. Michelle's got the ice maker. We turned that on one night and got a couple hours out of it. Last night, after getting the batteries in there, they were about 12.4 volts after I got them all hooked up and turned on. And they were running they ran the whole night and it only got down to 12.3 volts. And here's today when it was charging up. So yeah, last night we ran the ice maker, a window fan, and then all the lights, of course, are on the 12 volts. Yeah, thanks, GD. I usually do pretty good. It's just the very newer stuff that I would probably need. Someday I'm gonna get my own. I'll probably gotta get Identifix. And then the first job I did on Monday was I pulled the transmission out of that 2016 Town and Country. Yeah, when it would shift. So he brought it in for, can't remember if it was an oil change. No, it wasn't an oil change. It was a wheel bearing. But when I went out to drive it, man, it would shift and it would buck and jerk, and not so much of a shudder, but it was bad. Sometimes it would shudder going into the gears. And I'm like, well, I think your torque converter's bad. So I'm like, I did not want to do the job because I didn't know for sure. And he's like, well, I really want to get it done. And I put him off. And he calls me up one day and he said, I want to do the quote. So I'm like, yeah, but I don't really want to stand behind it if it don't work. And he goes, well, at least we'll have a new torque converter for the new trainee we're going to get. I said, okay, we'll try it. But it worked. That transmission shifted so smooth. No problems at all. And then I ended up putting it's like what I'm trying to say, the gasket. I always use a gasket on these. I'm gonna have to look it up. So I get a gasket. I gotta go shut that air compressor off. But I use a Duraprene gasket rather than the silicone. It just works better for me. And then that fluid, look how bad that fluid was too. That's another scary thing. Fluid was black as motor oil. And I got another picture of the fluid. Well, there's the There's where I was checking everything when I brought it in on the hoist and did the oil change for the engine. But yeah, I was trying to get I should have took a picture of the gasket, but I didn't take a picture of it. And the fluid. Yeah, right here. That fluid was black. Then I got the torque converter from AutoZone. There is only, I think only O'Reilly's and AutoZone had one. But it was made in the USA, so that's good. But yeah, I just came and picked it up. Yeah, he's very happy. It needs rear brakes too, so I told him, I said, you got a little bit left and it's going to need rotors too, so if it starts grinding, just bring it in. Or whenever you want to do it. Thought I was getting attacked by bees, maybe. Yeah, here's the Hank's root beer Benny got me. So that's 10 bottles of root beer. It's good. It's good root beer. I would say it's like same as the IBC, a little more flavor than the Dad's. It's right up there amongst the best ones that I got over there. I don't really know how to describe root beer. Yeah, the maple root beer was good. That's behind here. Right there. That's what he brought me last week with some maple root beer. Spreacher. Yeah, JD sent me a picture of some calipers he had to clean up. Got them pretty good. So what did you say you used on those, JD? A wire brush on a drill? No, you definitely don't want to drink no transmission fluid, whether it's used or new. Total Tech 8246. Where are you from? What else did I do? Yeah, so I had to move the Jeep Liberty outside. And I got all the parts for the engine to start going back together. I got a hone. I got a couple different hones here to hone that cylinder. I think tomorrow I'm gonna have some time to work on the Jeep Liberty. The grinder with a wire wheel, that's in the picture. Yep. So that looks like it works pretty good, just kind of like mine. I just use a drill and a nylon bristle brush. How can I make this picture fit the screen? But yeah, the nylon bristle brush, that one, they work pretty good too. So yeah, I've never done the Enclave pinion seal, but that's inside the rear diff. Right behind the torque tube there. Relatively easy job. The hardest part was cleaning everything up. And then there's a gasket that goes around the 6 bolts that hold it on. JD says the grinder with the Y wheel, that's in the picture. Yep. But I'm still shocked about the torque converter deal. I did not think that torque converter was going to fix that transmission like that. And then I don't have a picture of the fluid or a sample of it, but it was nice and clean when it was done. Of course, I let it drain out all night. Plus, I taken the torque converter off, so there would have been hardly any old fluid in there. And so yeah, I'm glad it turned out really good, and I was able to get paid and can feel good about my repair. Yeah, I was having a little trouble getting the transmission out of there. The top, or that, I don't even know what you call that, but the spacer plate that goes in between the block and the transmission. Well, the pin on the back, the alignment dowel, stuck into the block, stuck that plate to the block side, and then the front side. Okay, yeah, the front side, the pin was in the block, stuck the plate to the block. The back side, I meant the back side, and the pin stayed in the transmission and stuck the plate to the transmission side. I'm like, why won't it come out of here? Because I just snuck it out without taking the little subframe off. And once I looked up in there and seen that the plate was holding it, I'm like, as soon as I pried on the plate, it came right out. Look, Daisy's in that picture back there. But yeah, I went in and out same day, left the pan off it to drain any extra fluid out of it. Slapped the pan on this morning and filled her up, and I'm like, I'm going on a test drive and I'm gonna have my fingers crossed. I can't remember yet. Something else happened. Benny brought me the root beer, so I'm like, maybe it'll be a good day. Maybe that'll work. Well, I know what else happened that made it a good day, because Olmsted County wrote their check out to me personally, in which I asked them to write it out to Custom Car. They're just being I'd like to use a couple swear words, but they're being difficult. Second time they've done it. But I decided to see if the check would go through anyways, and it did. So I'm like, I didn't have to mess around and put it in a different account. It went through. So I'm like, all right, because I even called them up and asked them why they can't write it to Custom Car, and I told them I need to talk to a supervisor. She said to have the supervisor called me, and she didn't call me, so I'm still waiting for the call. Also, the guy that's in service, or in the part where I go, the service manager, he's supposed to call me. So they never called, but I got the check to go through. So a couple good things happened today. I got fully caught up. I'm gonna put the camera back on, but we're fully caught up. Everything is done. I don't even have a car to bring inside right now. So tomorrow's going to be a lighter day, which I only like to schedule one car a day, but it's going to be a transmission service, PTU service, rear diff service. I hope I can't remember. Michelle, did he want a coolant service too, or? I don't think so. So it's just the oil services. And he had come in a couple weeks ago for an oil change, and I noticed that it needed it all. 2020 Traverse, so it's a pretty nice vehicle. All the services are due or overdue. And then Benny's coming in on Thursday. Another guy's bringing a trailer for some lights and brake wiring. Then I have a Kia coming in on Friday for a valve cover gasket, wheel bearing, and oxygen sensor. And Saturday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 oil changes lined up for Saturday so far, and an inspection. And one of them's a Ram 3500 diesel, and it needs fuel filters. So that's probably enough. The diesels take me a little bit longer, and usually this guy wants a tire rotation too. So, but it wasn't in here that long ago, so he's putting some miles on that diesel. Don't forget the wallet flush. No, we don't flush nobody's wallet. Well, I mean, that transmission job was a bigger job, and it did cost a little bit of money for me to pull that out, put a torque converter in there, and new fluid. I used good fluid. I put the gasket on the oil pan, so in case he ever wants to do a flush on it, just zip it off and zip it back on. That's what I always do on the 6T or 6.2 TE transmissions. That was the last gasket I had on hand though, so I had to I got to order more. Yeah, it's the rear O2 sensor, so it's been in a couple times, and for oil changes, and I've noticed that she always has me check the codes. And sometimes it's pending and sometimes it's not. So I think the sensor's just getting and it's just time to replace it. But yeah, it could definitely be something else. It says exhaust leaks, but I've looked at it. I don't see any exhaust leaks. And then the light will come on for a couple days, and it'll be off for a couple weeks. So come on for a couple days, go off for a couple weeks. That's what she tells me. JD says I did a wheel bearing on a 2016 Nissan Rogue today. It was so noisy it would vibrate the floor. Also told him that it should have trans fluid change since it's CVT. 140,000 kilometers, never done. Yep, you got it. You got it. Especially if it's a CVT. We're going to have to ask, if Rob comes on, we're going to have to ask him how his turned out. Can't remember what exact model that he had. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, CVTs definitely need drain and fills all the time. What is it? Every 30,000, every 30 to 40,000 miles. It'll make that steel chain in there last a lot longer. I don't like CVT transmissions at all. I thought it was a joke when they first came out, and I thought they would get rid of them. I never thought they would last and work. I don't know if they last, but they do work for just a little bit. I think they last a lot better if you do the recommended service on the transmission. So yeah, every time I get a car in here with a CVT transmission, I do check the condition of the fluid. I'll ask my customer, are you on schedule with your service on your transmission? I got a ton of questions I ask. And then depending upon the vehicle, sometimes the fluid is pretty expensive. Yeah, so super happy about how the batteries. So the batteries are just holding good now. So they started at 12.4 volts when I put them in. Oh yeah, I have another picture of the old batteries. Yeah, I think I showed you that. And then these are the old batteries. 4 of those in the motorhome. And these batteries are 147 pounds a piece. So the new batteries are right in that range, but there's only 2 of them. So there's 4 of these. Yeah, the 8D batteries were only, they're about 150, 40 to 50 pounds. So yeah, they're holding good. They're marine RV batteries, so deep cycle. I reset the charge controller up for lead acid. Oh yeah, we got a new car today. Let me show you. I'm pretty excited. Not sure what we're gonna do with it. I'm gonna find it here. I got a new car. It's this one. Right there, that's my new car. So I don't know. The radiator is not compromised. It is bent a little bit. The fan shroud might be broken a little bit. I mean, the headlight's gone. It's laying in the car somewhere. It's got a 5-speed in it. Yeah, wrench, they're all wired in a parallel for 12 volts. So everything in the motorhome runs off 12 volts, like the refrigerator. The refrigerator is like one of those where it runs off propane, 120 volts and 12 volts. And then the inverter I got is a 3500 watt 12 volt. And then that plugs into the main cord that runs everything. And the solar panels are wired in series, so there's 48 volts. It's actually way higher than 48 volts. It's like 72 volts when it's open circuit, 84 volts maybe. But that charge controller's made to hook them solar panels in series to charge a 12 volt batteries. Name it Humpty Dumpty. Call it the tin can. Jaws. Yeah, it looks like. Anyways, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna straighten the hood up, peel back that fender. Maybe we'll make it like race car style. I'll get some sheet aluminum and we'll just redo the whole front end. But you gotta have lights, so we gotta fix the lights. The windshield is only broken down at the bottom corner of the passenger side from the hood. But I don't know if I could just get it running and road or legal to drive on the road. We could use it to just drive around town, back and forth to the gas station or whatnot. Actually, it'd be a great loaner car. Of course, people can't drive. They can't drive manual transmission, so probably wouldn't work as a loaner car. Good thought, though. So I got a little. Basically, what I bought is maybe a battery, some fuses, and a 1.6 Ecotech engine. There's probably a few other parts on there I could salvage. Always salvage the fuses and light bulbs. I guess the catalytic converter. It's got steel wheels with hubcaps, so nothing too much there. Probably pull the front seats out of it and put them on some stands for inside the shop here. Have a bunch of good lacrosse parts from a bad deer head if you ever need them. That's good to know because I got a couple customers with those cars still. Can't remember the last part I needed was for the rear suspension. I had to go to the junkyard and it's not a pick and pull, but they let me go out there and take it off the car. So I'm like, it's kind of a delicate part. I don't want it broken because I can't find one. If yours is good, I want to keep it in good condition. So yeah, not too much to talk about. Oh yeah, I went and voted today. So yeah, primary election day completely caught up. We're at 25 invoices for the month, so we're doing really good. We're ahead on invoices. PSA public service announcement. I'm switching all my live streams to 8 p.m. So next Thursday will be 8 p.m. Someone hit a deer that caved that peel roof back. The whole cab was filled with feces and blood. Yeah, that sucks. I know I do some deer hits and get a lot of hair on the front and maybe a piece of skin. Yeah, the Liberty, maybe I'll have time to work on the Jeep Liberty engine tomorrow. Maybe change them valves, get the heads all sealed back up, get that cam changed out. Yeah, and I was interested to hear how Rob did on his transmission service, but he did not come on yet. He might come on later. So yeah, not too much to talk about, but we'll figure out something, right? Yeah, the root beer is not bad. Oh, I know what I can talk about. So the mailman dropped his car off the other day. The brake pads were completely wore out. So the DFC brake pads, they didn't make it very long. I put new calipers on it last time. You know, the rotors weren't that bad. We pad slapped it, new calipers, the DFC brake pads. The time before that, I used Bosch pads, and they got 26,000 miles on the Bosch pads. But this time, you know, I thought one of the calipers were sticking, both front calipers were sticking a little bit, and I figured that's why we only got 26,000 miles off them brake pads. But he told me the other day it got to like 98 degrees outside, and he said he was pushing his car hard. So I think what happened this time is the brakes just got hot, real hot. and then continuously using them without letting them cool down, it wore the pads off them DFCs, because it was just in a few weeks ago, and I looked at them and they were like half. But then the next thing I know, he's showing up here and it says he thinks his rotors are bad. Well, it was the pads. I put new rotors and pads on it this time, and I used so we got 11,000 out of the DFCs, and I'm not happy. So this time we did rotors. The calipers are all good. The wheels are free. I pumped the pedal up as hard as I could. The wheels are not sticking. Nothing is sticking. 11,000 miles. I can't wait till the rep comes in tomorrow, because I'm gonna show him his brake pads. Ben Jones. I don't know who Ben Jones is. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, so I put in. I couldn't. I wanted to put in some Napa silent guards. They didn't have any. So I put in a Duralast Ultra. So we're gonna see how they work. Actor and former U.S. United States representative. Oh, so he's the guy on Cooter from Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, I got a signed Dukes of Hazzard can coolie from Cooter. So Ben Jones. Yeah, I did not know that. It's too bad. Says August 9th, 2026. Cooter on Dukes of Hazzard. Yup. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, Michelle, look in the motorhome in my upper cabinet drawer and see if find my Dukes of Hazzard signed can coolie. And if you would come bring it out here on your next trip out. Yeah, she's out there. We moved the motorhome so it gets more sun. So we kind of got like a couple different places where we park it here. So we moved it more out into the open so it get more sun, and we're going to completely try to run off the batteries. So we'll see how that works. We got to turn the refrigerator on. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow, Michelle. We'll turn the refrigerator on and see if the batteries can hold the refrigerator. Yep, I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard after school every day. Get off the bus, go inside, watch Dukes of Hazzard, A-Team, Airwolf. I think we watched Little House on the Prairie too. That would be on after school. So it's probably Little House on the Prairie first, then the Dukes of Hazzard, then the A-Team, and then Airwolf. I think that's the order. And there was one more show too. It was can't remember which one that was, but there was one more show that would come on too. So yeah, when you're doing brakes, it's very important to get all the rust build up where the pad slides there. And then there's a clip that goes in there. So I grease up both sides, put some grease on here, put some grease on the clips. But eventually that grease will wear off. But 11,000 miles on my brake pads, they were still greased up. I cleaned it all off and re-greased them. Put on the Duralast. I'm going to go run outside and grab that box. No, it's right here. So let me put the camera back on. So the first set of pads were the Bosch, and then they got replaced with the DFCs here. 26,000. I think there was still just a little bit of life left in these pads. Oh, we did front and rear. So there's one of the rears. That's right down to nothing. These are Bosch. The rear DFC pads are still good in the CRV. Here's one of the front ones. So there's a little bit left on there. This side was getting a little bit lower. No, I can't fit it back in there. There we go. So today I put in the Duralast Elite pads. It says they last 3 times longer, but we'll see. And I know Leisure's going to say Duralast don't last. But here it is. Got all the way down. Kind of disappointed. Rick Miller, 1974. Come on, I feel old now. All the great TV shows, yeah. 1974, so I'm just gonna take it you're 52 years old. Rick Miller, 1970. Where are you from, Rick Miller? JD says we use clean flow brake lube dielectric grease. Never heard of the clean flow. Let me look that one up. A Leisure got me on to the green. Yeah.
There's like 100 of them up there.
Yeah, I should pick up a tube of this stuff. Yeah, so that's what he said. He said he overheated his brakes. And then he knew they were overheated, but he had to finish the mail route. He said by the time he got done with the mail route, he knew something was really wrong. So he dropped it off here. And I just had time to bring it in today after I got to finish up the transmission job. That should have been all done. I should have got that transmission job all done yesterday, but I didn't get the torque converter till 4:30. And I worked on it quite a bit. I got it all ready to go except for the fluid in and the oil pan on it. Let me go get the grease. So what I normally use is this purple stuff, the ceramic, but it's a little bit thinner. Leisure told me to try this synthetic, and this is a little bit thicker. So I'll use this stuff for the pins and then this stuff for everything else. Seems to be working out good. And the green grease is a little bit more weather resistant. So like if you're putting it on the slide pit or on the slides or where the pad slides into the caliper, it might last a little bit longer is what I'm hoping. But I'm always looking for new stuff. So I think I'm going to pick up some of that stuff, JD, and see how that works. I'm just going to make a note of that. Corshane, how you doing? You're finally showing up on my YouTube feed now. So I just commented on a lot of your videos. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm always interested to see what other people use, and I'll usually, if it's not over expensive, I'll usually buy some and try it out. So yeah, of course, Shane, I'm very sorry about the news with your mom. I've heard the purple stuff swells the rubber bits. I haven't had any trouble. I've been using it for years. Through sleet, rain, snow, stoplights, and your fence in the mail must get through. So yeah, it looks like you got some projects going on there, Corshane. It's good to be busy, I'm telling you that. So at my shop though, I got a schedule book, and I'd like to keep on schedule because our schedule goes out. We are out a ways. So if I'm only one guy here working. So if I get off schedule, yeah, we are into September already with appointments. So occasionally people will bring a car and drop it off early. So nobody dropped their car off early for tomorrow though. Of course, Shane says, "Yeah, oh yeah, it's a good problem to have being busy." Yep, that's for sure. All my customers usually drop their cars off, and if they don't, I got this Jeep Liberty to work on. I got a couple more things to do on the motorhome. The shop could use a good deep cleaning. Tomorrow, even with the one car coming in, somebody will come in, and then also the reps come in tomorrow. So the Napa rep will be coming, O'Reilly's rep, Johnson rep. They all come on Wednesdays for some reason. But yeah, those Duralast pads, they did when I went out for the test drive, and they look like this too. They got that pattern on the pad, and they had like shiny speckles in them, like maybe some metal in them. And then when I went out on the burnish or whatever, I know you don't have to burnish pads very much anymore, but I always like to seat them in, make sure there's nothing squeaking. But they were like a little rough at first, so I did a couple more stops, and they seemed to smooth out, stop real nice. So we'll see. So I'm kind of doing a little test on the mailman's car. Hopefully I can find some pads that'll last longer and can manage to get heated up hot and still not wear out. But I wanted to put the silent guard pads in today, but they didn't have them. So this looked, I thought I would try these. I never put in Duralast brake pads before. So we'll see what happens. So far the Bosch got 26,000 and the DFC's got 11. But the DFCs in the back are still more than half good. So I think it was because it got so hot. The DFC pad could not take the heat, and then it wore right out. Because it was just in a few weeks ago, and they looked like they were about half thickness to me. JD says coated rotors sounded like they are metal on metal on the last couple stops. Yeah, I mean that's what it sounded like a little bit. I didn't get the ceramic coated rotor, so I got the good Napa ones, but they're not fully coated. And the first couple stops I did, it sounded like they were grinding. It was just breaking in the pads. It was just wearing in the pads. But the other brake pads I put in don't do that. It was only these Duralast ones. So I just stepped outside. Yeah, the volume's still working, but I put they're Napa Gold rotors. So they're only coated here on the hat and on the edge. And I think Napa's getting away from all that silent guard stuff. They changed the colors on the rotor boxes, and they have adaptive 1. I think they're going to adaptive 1, whatever that is. I haven't even tried it yet. Yeah, I knew that's what you had to mention, JD. But yeah, it did sound like she was grinding for the first couple stops. And I'm like, yeah, it's got to be them pads because I seen them had little speckles of metal in them. But once I burnished them in just a little bit. Usually I don't have to burnish pads very much at all. But I'm like, okay, this one's a little different. So I drove it a little bit, did some nice smooth stops, not hard at all. I remember back in the old days, the pads, they were made out of a different material, and you had to heat them up pretty good to get them to cure for them to last. If you didn't get them hot and cured, they would not last. The mailman, Leisure says, the mailman doesn't just burnish the pads, he burns through them. Yeah, still. That's what he said. He said it all happened on that one day when it was really hot. He was running behind. Today he was running behind too, and he said he didn't get much sleep last night. He came and picked it up already. He likes the 2010, the one he hit the deer with the best. And so I'm glad I was able to get that car put back together for him after he hit the deer. Yeah, so far the parking lines, they are working mint. Everybody parks. Yeah, that's the Enclave. I had to do the rear pinion seal. And I did a fluid exchange on the PTU. But then I drove it a couple times and rechecked the fluid in the PTU, and it was crystal clear. So I got it flushed out of there really good. Racing brake pads need to get heat into them before they work well. Yeah, that metallic pads. I don't have I just have my suppliers, whatever they got. I don't have like options. I mean, we could order some semi-metallic pads or something like that. Maybe that's what we'll do. If these Duralast ones don't last, I'm gonna have to go online and find some pads that will last. But yeah, I'd buy modified. I would just run regular brake pads on there, and I never had any trouble. I got the DFCs in my pickup. I got them in my Jeep now. Oh yeah, so tomorrow we're gonna have to fix the tire on the Jeep, right, Michelle? Something must have hit the valve stem because the valve stem is leaking. It doesn't leak if it's like sitting still, but if you're driving, it leaks, and if you wiggle it around a little bit, it leaks. So I don't know what happened. Yet the parking lines are working really good. Oh yeah, Michelle brought in my cooters. I think he signed this somewhere, but it's gotten worn off. I use it in the motorhome. Cooter's Garage. My brother went down there and got me this. He signed it, and then my brother met him. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so she needs her valve stem fixed on the Jeep, which is I'm gonna have to figure out if it's broken or what. And then I don't want to put a new TPMS sensor in it, so hopefully I have a valve stem here that I can screw on whatever kind of sensor it's got. The wind pushes the valve stem just enough to let air out. Yeah, when you're driving. So what else did I do last week or this week? Yeah, so I started out with the torque converter on Monday, got that done early. I scheduled 2 days on it because I just didn't know. It's been a while since I took a transmission out on one of those vans. Oh yeah, I did the long video on the Ford window motor just because I want to get back into doing long videos. And I knew I could fix it one way or another, whether I put a new motor in it or whatever. Did the whole diag with you guys, and there was no diag. It was just, I figured it out right away because if you watch the dome light when you use the switch, if the dome light changes at all in brightness, that means your wire integrity is good. Oh yeah, I did a wheel bearing on a Chevy Malibu, two rear two rear wheel bearings, and then I finally had a Duralast wheel bearing go bad. I put in the cheapest wheel bearing in the front. Oh, it was a it was a year ago. No, not quite a year. But anyways, he was over on the warranty for me, but I covered it anyways. And then AutoZone upgraded us to the Duralast Elite bearing or whatever. But it was out. It wasn't making noise, but it had play in it. So first wheel bearing has gone bad that I put in the cheap ones so far. So yeah, I put in 2 wheel bearings in the back. That takes the same wheel bearings on all 4 wheels. I just got done with the mailman's brakes. I didn't take any pictures of it, and then I finished up the transmission job on the 2016 Town and Country with the 6.2 TE transmission. Duralast Gold was the upgrade. So yeah, we put the upgraded bearing in because they didn't have the cheap ones. Like maybe they're no good. They're not going to have the cheap ones anymore. So they warranted us out a wheel bearing from the cheap one to the next level up. Duralast Gold. So yeah, I had to cover that. No big deal. But I told him he's got 1 wheel bearing left. But he's going to go on a trip. So he wanted everything working. I said, you got 1 wheel bearing left that we haven't replaced yet. Don't last fool's gold. Yep. So first time, you know, a hard part from AutoZone has gone bad. I can't use their sensors. A couple oxygen sensors I've had work good, but I tried some other sensors like a map sensor, and I can't remember what the other one was. But they're bad right out of the box. But we couldn't. It was on a Saturday or something like that, or a Friday afternoon, and we could not get the dealer to bring. The dealer didn't even the map sensor. The dealer didn't even make them anymore. They were discontinued. So I was able to source a GM map sensor on eBay. But yeah, I tried an O'Reilly's one and I tried a Duralast one. Both of them were bad right out of the box. I get the GM one and it's fine. So what I did, it was a customer's car. I took it out of Michelle's Impala. I let her use that map sensor until I could get one coming in on eBay. I was going to ask you about that, Corshane. Oh yeah, I got that transfer case. How did that go? So you were working hard then, because that looked like a tough one. Yeah, it wasn't actually that bad to change. Well, that's good. It's nice to be able to have a. I don't think it was easy, but it's nice to have an easier one. Yeah, that transmission job. I'll put that back on the screen. That did not go too bad for me either. I'd done them before, but it was a long time ago on the Chrysler minivan. And I'm not sure if you're supposed to take that little half subframe off or not, but I did not. The one, see that front motor mount bar that's hanging down there, like on top of the transmission. I just left that one bolt in, but there's a bigger bolt that goes up into the front of the radiator support. I had to work that one back and forth like a lot because I thought it might strip out or break off, or what do they got? A little welded nut in there. I was like, I hope that don't break. Not gonna lie, it was definitely a challenge. Well, that's good. Yeah, I was watching some of your videos today, and it looks like you get right down into everything. Yeah, Michelle's like, LOL, these are might be right, but hey, the gold at least looked like an upgrade. Yeah, well, the gold wheel bearing has 3-year warranty on it. So, and then the other good news was I had just done it not too long ago, so it popped right in and out. I just wiped the old anti-seize off with the rag and put some new on there and bolted it back in. But the customer was not upset at all. He's like, "That's not your fault the part fails." Well, it could be my fault a little bit because I buy the cheaper ones. But that's our whole thing that's going on here is maybe for that customer I could have bought a more expensive one, but he did both back ones, and I mean it's already getting up there, his bill. So the whole thing here at my shop is we economical based and a value for your money. Whatever you spend, get a value for your money. Customer satisfaction. We try to do it. We try to have a low labor rate. I only charge $80 an hour. And we try to get you the best, cheapest parts. I mean, sometimes you got to use the dealer part, an OE part. Absolutely. I don't like actuators. Got to use OE parts. There's some things that you can slide, and wheel bearings are one of the things I slide around here. Usually I have good luck with brake pads, but this time, I mean, the squad car's still going. It's got more miles on its pads. Of course, I use Napa fleet pads on that. Yeah, I looked for fleet pads for this CRV. Napa didn't have any. Of course, Shane says, "Oh yeah, I do definitely don't have a shortage of work. Working by myself sometimes gets stressful, but I always pull through." Yeah, so I'm by myself besides for Michelle. So I guess when Michelle's not here or not out of bed yet, then I'm by myself. But she's outside, so if she hasn't heard from me for a while, she definitely come and check on me. And I tell you what, even though she's not here all the time, she helps out a lot. Like we do spin tests on the hoist. She'll go up there and drive it, and I'll tell her when to stop or when the wheels are stopped so she can put it back in park. I'll tell her how fast to go. Bleeding brakes, most of the time I can bleed brakes by myself, but sometimes it's faster or sometimes I can't. So then she's really good at bleeding brakes. Like I don't even have to tell her like pump it up or hold it. She knows how to do all that without being told. Bringing the cars in when on oil change day for checking the lights, I'll get it onto the hoist and then she'll walk around the car and make sure all the lights work. So she does a lot. So sometimes a little helper definitely goes a long ways in the shop. Yeah, she doesn't like to be out here because it's kind of stressful sometimes. I think that's because she's learning like how shops work and atmosphere in the shop, how fast paced it is, how we have to do such an elite, perfect job every job. Everything has to be clean. Customers have to be pampered. So she's just learning the ropes, and she's not used to it. Sometimes customers come back to make sure Pete isn't locked in a cage somewhere. Leisure says a local landscaper goes through a lot of Duralast brakes, as well as garage doors, fences, and flower beds. Yeah, I'm just going to be interested to see how these Duralast pads work. They came with good hardware. Each pad was wrapped like in a piece of craft paper. And I did see some metal embedded into the pads, little flakes. So they got to be somewhat semi-metallic, even though they say they're ceramic. It says next generation copper-free ceramic formula. So there's no copper in it, but maybe there's some aluminum. Low dust, quiet stopping, vehicle-specific coating with enhanced transfer layer technology engineered for longer life. That's all I care. We need long life and no dusting. I got a lot of customers, they'll bring their car in here and they tell me, do not put brake pads in there that put the black stuff on the wheels. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with you on that one. I do the best I can. I did find out that the Bosch pads, they are high dusting pads. And dusting too is wear. So I hate when trying to bleed brakes and the person pushing the pedal thinks they know what to do and they don't listen to what you want. Well, I thought that's how it was going to go with me and Michelle. So I was telling her, like, pump it up and hold it, and then I would crack the bleeder. But we did that, like I said, that like 2 sets of bleeding on one wheel, and then I noticed that she would start pumping the pedal up again once I closed the bleeder. I don't know how she knew that. So I didn't even have to. We went through the other 3 wheels without even talking to her. I just told her I was on to the next wheel. Go ahead. Semi-ceramic. What's your thoughts on import direct pads? I haven't used any. I thought about buying them today because I've used some import direct parts to fix imported cars or non-American cars or whatever, and they seem to be high quality stuff. Like I put some coolant fans on multiple different Hondas. They work. It's the only fans I can get without having to go to Amazon. So far I have not tried to import direct pads. Maybe one of you guys have, but the other stuff I use seems to be high quality. It's the computer work mostly. He wants me to look something up. I've never heard of that and find him exactly what he wants while he's standing over my shoulders telling me how to scroll here, click that. Well, I'm just trying to get you used to how to use these websites so you can be more efficient. I just get up and tell him to do it. And then I tell you to sit back down. I heard they were great pads. I'll have to try them. Maybe that'll be the next one for the Honda CRV mailman. I just don't like to spend a lot of money on brake pads because they are consumables. Your car is going to use up brake pads. Some people can go many years, some people cannot. So it all depends on how you drive, how long your brake pads will last. I'm the worst teacher. Well, that could be. My dad was a teacher though, and I learned from him, so I don't know how I could be a bad teacher. My dad taught all different kinds of auto mechanics and diesel mechanics. So that's where I learned most of my stuff. That's what we got to do, Michelle. We got to get all his certificates up on a board in the shop. And I'm thinking, like you said, we got to frame each one. Well, let's just put them all on a board and then frame the whole board. JD says, I'm not a good teacher either, but I know what I want, but I have hard time explaining it. Yeah, me too, because that's what I try to do on my videos, and I have an absolute hard time. But I know the software that Michelle's using, and I know it better than she does, so that's where I help her try to learn. And then she does find some things that I didn't know about, and then I learn from her. Pete says, you should already know what I want. Read my mind. Yeah. Alicia said he could go decades on brakes. I generally do pretty good too. That kind of sounded like weird. I generally do pretty good too. Michelle says she's a bartender, not a mechanic or a secretary. Yeah, well, we do want to open a bar in the shop into Michelle's area. That's what our whole intention was. But whatever that was we want to have a bar with a sandwich shop. But you can't have food connected to a shop with an entrance. It's from what we found out. But if we're gonna have a bar, I would. I don't want drunk people around here all the time, so it would have to be like 1 or 2 days a week, specific hours, and then you also have to have a liquor license. I think our town only has one liquor license left, but you have to apply for it. No, you fight with me tooth and nail until you get over your shift and actually listen. I'm gonna have a private bar at night. Yeah, so there is ways around that where you don't charge people for their liquor, but you charge them a membership. I think Michelle's doing good. I'll let her answer that. But yesterday she helped me put the batteries in there. Today she made a trip to Spring Valley and got some bills paid. She picked up some stuff to snack on for me because I was out. She said she's gonna make. She's making something for supper tonight. We always have a late supper. Yeah, sometimes I don't get to eat till like 11:30. But yeah, so far it's going good, and I probably do need better service information, but it seems like I got full wiring diagrams, and the wireless thing is pretty good for what I need. But if I ever do get one, it's going to be Identifix. That's the one I want. Yeah, we got a weird bill in the mail today from Napa. We had to call them. I guess I have a credit card on file, and then every time I order parts, they just charge me. But I guess one of the newer employees at the Napa store thought I had an account, so she was charging my parts. So we got that taken care of today, and the manager he wasn't too impressed. He was just like, I can't believe she did that. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. I can't say that, those kind of pads. I know that's what they use at Dave's Auto and Truck or whatever. But I have no source to get them Beneco pads. Abeco. I don't have no source to get those. I tried looking them up. I cannot get those pads. So I don't know, where do you get those pads? They have been out for 4 to 5 years now. The front, I put on the cheapest brake pads World Pack had. WBR, I think they have been out for a couple years and almost worn. So Michelle says she's doing good. I hope you're doing okay. Yeah, we're both thinking about you. Just keep busy. Don't forget to take time for yourself. Hey Pete, do you know how to change a valve body on a Subaru Crosstrek? Nope, I never done a valve. I don't like to get into transmissions that much. I've done a 700 R4, if that counts for anything. Turbo 400s, turbo 350s, power glides, all GM stuff. Achibono. Achibono. Akibono. Yeah, I have no source for them pads. Where you get them? I looked it up because they were on Dave's Auto and Truck, and one of the techs had a. I can't remember what the heck they decided what was wrong, but I decided they put them in wrong. Yep, that's the best thing to do is just when that happens, just try to stay busy. I know you got to have time for yourself and time for your family. And when my dad died, I had to take some time off just well, it was pretty stressful. So just to be by myself. World Pack. Well, I don't even know what World Pack is. I guess I'll have to Google that one. And we don't have no World Pack. I'm gonna leave this page up with the Clean Flow brake lube. Get a new page. I'm kind of looking at a map here. We do not have. There's something here. Fleet Pride. Let me look at closer to this map. It says O'Reilly's. No, we don't have. I don't have nothing close to me. Oh, O'Reilly's in a. Doesn't say. I'm gonna click on this. It does say O'Reilly's in Spring Valley. I'll have to ask them if they can get those. Of course, I don't buy nothing from O'Reilly's anymore. I did the video on the parts delivery truck because it goes by here every night or like at 11:30. And I'm like, I know. He went and dropped off parts at the O'Reilly's and then he came back. So I stood out next to the highway, tried to get him to honk the horn. And I was standing out there like a little kid, man. And he didn't honk the horn, but it was like 11:30 at night, so maybe he was just being considerate. Yeah, every night, the Riley's truck will drive by, deliver parts to the Spring Valley O'Reilly's, and he's got his own key because I've asked him about it, or I asked the people at O'Reilly's. He's got his own key, goes, unloads his truck by himself, puts the parts in that people order, or they order, for deliveries the next day, and then he locks the store back up and he drives back. Yeah, Fleet Pride, but that's when I looked up that World Pack and it said that Fleet Pride would handle it. I don't have a World Pack here. Do you have Parts International Store? Yeah, there's an international dealer in Rochester. Look for Auto Part International. Okay. I still haven't got. We still haven't even checked out the Factory Motor Parts yet, and they're in Rochester. So maybe Factory Motor Parts has a different line of stuff that I don't have. All right, let me search this one that Alicia said. Auto Part International is a wholesale distributor of original equipment and replacement auto parts. Is there like a map? And then that also brings up World Pack. I know I can get them on Amazon, but that doesn't really work for me. Let me just go into their website and see. We're going to have to look into this maybe, Michelle. Maybe they just can... Oh, here, I found something. Just wait. Locations. At all the places I've worked at, we've never... It says control. No, I made the map too big. So yeah, nothing in my area. Minneapolis is the closest. That's 100 miles away for the World Pack. Thank you, Leisure. That's what I meant. Yeah. Yeah, World Pack is in Minneapolis. JD knew it before I did. They have reasonable pricing on pads and stuff. Do you have Parts International Parts? No, we have like an international semi truck dealer. I'll see what this one says too. We do need to go to the Factory Motor Parts one there in Rochester. See if they got deliveries or parts tech or whatever we got to do. Albert Lee, St. Paul, Minneapolis for the international parts. International truck parts. There's an international dealer in Rochester. It says Napa International Parts. I don't think we're doing the right kind of search on this. Yep, I've been pretty good. I haven't got nothing from O'Reilly's for a while. I don't feel bad either. Someday they did drop me off a credit slip today, and one of my power torque ratchets went bad, so I sent that back for a replacement. Factory motor part delivers. Okay, yeah, we do need to go up to Rochester and walk in and see what we got to do. Maybe you could call them tomorrow, Michelle. I'm gonna put it on Michelle's list and see if they offer anything in this area. See if we can get on Parts Tech. They are good for stuff that you have booked in advance. So yeah, Michelle does have a little list she's got to get caught up on, but she's caught up on all the slips. Looks like there's a couple new bills that came in today that she's got to put in. But she's pretty much caught up too. So she didn't work very much today, just like a couple hours. And she handled the customers really good. That at the time she was here working, the customers were here. So that worked out really good. Well, that it won't be too hard to call them and just see. Maybe they'll send a rep over. A lot of times when you call them for the first time, they'll just like, I'm going to send a rep out there. Maybe they don't even service this area, but we'll find out. Because the other shop I worked in Spring Valley, he's a bigger shop and he knows everybody, so he never had factory motor parts or World Pack. Yeah, I got all the dealers in Rochester deliver once a day. We're all got accounts with all of them. I got Auto Value, AutoZone, Napa, O'Reilly's. I think that's it. I did see in Rochester the last time I was there that the Advanced Auto Parts store was changed into a Napa. I had to pull a Katrina twice today. Yeah, I can't really remember what you figured out and got solved, but when I put Michelle on it, it gets done. Put it that way. We got a check stamper now. That works really good. People have been using it. I just set it out here on the bench where they pay, write out their checks. And they see it sitting there and they use it. So I haven't even had to tell them. I think Michelle told one person that we got it. Napa and tin can. I don't know what you mean about tin can. Oh yeah. Yeah, Michelle had to call Napa because we've got a weird bill. She got that taken care of. And then I asked her to text the gal with the Chevy Aveo. Like it's been here for like 4 or 5 weeks. I'm like, and it's sitting right out front, like everybody could see it. I'm gonna have to go out there and move it now. But she texted that lady and told her the offer still stands, and she showed up today and signed the title over to me. Yeah, I picked it up for $100. Where is it? I don't feel bad either because there's not much there. Where's my Chevy Aveo? Right here. I think somebody texted me. So JD sent Michelle a link for the World Pack. Now I'm kind of excited. I would like to see what Factory Motor Parts has and this World Pack thing. So I got a launch that's like 4 years old now, which doesn't get updates anymore, but I still use that every day. I'm not going to pay for the premium price of them upgrades. I'm just going to buy a new scanner when I need it. Then I got an X tool, and the X tool still gets updates. And then I have for my TPMS sensors, I got the Autel ITS 600, and it still gets updates. And then I have Alpha OBD, which is for Chryslers, and I think I can program anything with Alpha OBD on a Chrysler. So far, I haven't found anything I couldn't program. And it can read all the codes. But I like my launch, and I'm saving up to get the Autel Ultra, even though it's huge. So I wanted that Mukar one that's got the AI on it, but I upgraded the X tool the other day, and it's got AI on it now. So haven't tried it out yet, but I'll see what it does. But yeah, I think any Autel scanner is pretty good. I just want the big one because it'd be nice to have the scope built in, and you can use a Bluetooth dongle instead of having that big one in there. I've asked the Autel guy about it. He said it will use the little one, like the ITS 600. I could just connect that one to it. I don't even have to buy one if I get the scanner. And I want the S2 now because they came out with the upgraded one. Our JD says we run a Snap-on Zeus Plus and an X2 A30M as backup. The A30M is decent for under $200. Yeah, I think my X tool was a little bit more. I should have got the cheaper little red corded one, but I thought I'd get the Bluetooth one or whatever. But I bought it for a key programmer because it does a lot of keys. And I haven't done any keys for a while, but I do get some key jobs in that I do. So what scanner do you got, Corshane? So I have used the Snap-on Zeus. I don't know if it was a Zeus Plus, but it had the oscilloscope in it and stuff like that. I didn't get along with that scanner. It took so long to scan codes on cars. It took so long to start up. It locked up a lot. Corshane, it says I have the Snap-on one. It works pretty too. Autel. So at that same shop where we had the Zeus, we had an Autel. I always used the Autel. It was just a smaller Autel, like a 900 series or something. It wasn't the S2. But someday, I will take a bank loan and get the Ultra S2. Let me see. I got another scanner that I use for on the road. I put it in my to-go bag. Let me put up the camera. So I got this little one here, and they're like $5 on eBay. And this works pretty good, and I can also do torque with it. They don't update the key tool if you haven't updated before last December. They have removed a lot of functions. I just updated mine. I update it all the time. It just updated a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, the Autel is expensive to buy. Yeah, I mean, I'm really getting by with the ones I have. I guess there's what is it? The motor. So if you get the Autel, you can get a motor subscription with the service data. And I get by too on the newer Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, whatever they call themselves. I just unplug the gateway and put my gateway bypass thing in there. Yeah, I must have put that away the other day. So I don't get too many of the new Chryslers in that I have to scan. Probably one every 2 months, maybe. Paid $3,000. That's a lot. So it says I got 39 updates to do on the X tool, but here's the workhorse that I use. Used it a couple times today, and it doesn't block you from having an Android tablet. And then I got my Alpha OBD on here, the ARI's on here, my calculator's on here. But it does want me to renew, and I'd always just say not renew. So I scanned the 2017 Subaru today. And then the X tool, I don't use the X tool very much. But I'm going to download all these updates right now. Hopefully that doesn't take too much bandwidth. And then it does have the little thing here. And then the launch, this is not a corded one. I just got a little tether on the back so I don't leave this in the car. That's just an old telephone cord. But even though the launch hasn't been updated, it could still scan cars. And it's just been a really good scanner for me. So yeah, when I use the Alpha OBD, I got to use the MX adapter, OBD link MX. All right, so it already updated. Yep, I want to get the forescan too. I didn't know it was free. I thought you had to buy the Alpha OBD. I had to pay $100 or $50 for that, but it's a lifetime. But I thought I had to pay for that forescan. I should check into that. This little one I use with my phone. Oh, and it works with the launch. So that's one thing about the Altels. They lock out the Google part of it. So I got all my apps. I got a weather clock on there. Came off my Moto. I got First Call Online on there. So a lot of stuff on the launch that I like. 3 years. Yep, you get 3 years with the X tool. Our launch, or JD says his launch scan tool quit working after a few years. It was a launch X3 431 pad 2. So mine's an X 431 Pro 3S version 2.0. But like the battery lasts for 4 or 5 days. Sometimes I don't plug it in. It hasn't been plugged in at all today, and it's at 92%. Oh, I got Ari on here. I got Chrysler pin pull. Some other stuff. I'm just going to reset this X tool. So yeah, I do need to get a better scope than my my Handtech. So I was thinking about getting a Misig scope. They make some automotive ones, but that's a couple grand. I could put that couple grand towards the Autel S2 Ultra and get a scope and a better it's got better CAN bus tools. It's got split screen, a whole bunch of stuff I could do. JD says, when I first started at my current shop, they were still using OTC Genesis. Yeah, for some reason, my brother wants to get OTC. You said you had the TPMS reader? Yep, I'll go get it. So this same VCI with the Autel TPMS reader, this can work for the S2 Ultra. That's what the rep told me. And then this thing, the battery likes to go bad or die. But we'll see if it'll turn on. Picoscope 2204A scope. Yep. So if you're at a GM garage, you have to have the Picoscope. So I just have a Handtech, and actually we gotta have like a live session on this thing. I'll turn it on. But it's got the built-in voltmeter, digital voltmeter, 2-channel oscilloscope. But it's more of like a lab scope than an automotive. So, and I'm not the great at using a scope, but there's the scope. Oh yeah, I got this trace way up. Let me turn trace 2 off. Oh, why I can't turn that off? There we go. Trace 1, I mean, is way up high. I'm just gonna. There we go. And then it's got digital multimeter. So we got volts, milliamps, ohms, buzzer, amps, milliamps, voltage, AC voltages, diode testing, and is that capacitor. And then it graphs. It's got a graph on it. It's in color. It's touch screen. And you got to put a flash drive in it to record your waveforms. But yeah, I kind of need a better one. But this one gets me by. I can read the cam positions and the sensors, and I tried to use it the other day measuring the voltage drop on that window motor, but I just couldn't get it to pick it up very good. It did pick it up. But so far I've been able to get by pretty cheap on this stuff. O'Reilly's has a deal that if you buy 10 sensors, you get a free reader. Yeah, AutoZone. We've already done that. I only got like 3 sensors left, so the sensors have gone up a little bit in price compared to what I'm used to paying. So not really sure what I'm going to do, because I'd like to order another brick or whatever, 5 bricks, and get the better tool. So I'm trying to find that deal again. Autel just released a new scope last month. Yep, I think you were telling me about that. when we buy a brick of TPMS scissors, we get a free scanner also. Well, a TPMS scan tool. This one can do, it did turn on, and it says it's at 100%. But this one can do OBD codes too, but you got to buy the part to do it. There's just a bunch of stuff on there. Activate more. So that's where I need to do it if I want to read codes and stuff like that and have bi-directional control. So the last tool we got for free, we gave it to somebody else that could use it. And it came in a nice case and everything. Yeah, we gave the last one away. Yeah, the sensors are expensive. Don't want to pay that price. Yeah, they gone up a little bit. We have our JD says a Bartech TPMS 600 tool. What sensors does it do? What sensors does it program? They all read all of them. This one will only program Autel sensors. They're honestly to buy a single sensor at Napa's like a $27 my cost. We get it at cost. We don't charge more than other places for them, and we go through them like crazy. Yeah. Actually, we got a couple other customers inquiring about getting their TPMS sensors fixed. They hear that I'm the cheapest one to fix them. But we do got to get our tire machine, so I don't have to use the manual bead breaker anymore. All except Autel. So it'll program like GM sensors and then Schrader sensors. And yeah, no, I got you. The Autel sensors, they're good. I did straighten out a guy's Dodge Ram the other day. It was a newer Ram, 2020 something model Ram. He had it at the tire shop, and they do this every day, and they couldn't get his TPMS to work. But I reset everything with this and did the learn procedure, and it started reading them. I do them as well, but not that often. Yeah, that's where I started out. I bought this tool. I didn't even know how to program a sensor, but it's super easy. And it was intimidating to me at first, but super easy. Yeah, help Pete put in them. And she'll hold down she'll put the bead breaker on more of the sidewall of the tire and hold it down so I can get in there. They all got a little, is it an 8 or a 10 Torx, which the Autels don't have. They just snap on. So that was really weird. I'll just open this one because we're going to be using it soon anyways. But I imagine if you keep it sealed, it keeps the battery lasting longer. But there's just this little button, and then it comes off like that. And then you can get the screw in. These are only like $4. Must have opened the wrong side. So the screw in ones. So you just unclip that one, and there you go. So the Autels have just made it really easy. Yeah, T10. And then we keep an old sensor here in the shop, and I split it apart, and I show everybody there's just a 2032 battery in there, and you know how long they last, especially in the winter. So we keep one of these right here on the bench, so we show everybody. And here's one that's not been molested. And then I just pop the top off that. So once people realize that that battery's not replaceable, then they understand, and you got to break down the tire, change it out. You got to probably clean the bead, and you got to clean where the rubber part goes into the rim. So the Alltel ones were just the best way for me to go. And it was really weird because there was this box in the drawer, but there's no sensor in it, Michelle. Yep, they're terrible here. Like whenever they come in for replacement, I can never get this to screw off. And a lot of them that have these screw-in ones, you can put the regular one in like this. Just always try to match what they have. No, so we only have 4 sensors left. I thought we had 5 because I usually have one in this box. I don't know where that went. So if you buy them individually, they come in the box like this. If you buy them in the bulk, they come in a big box, and then they're all in plastic bags. And then I keep a few of these on hand. They're only like $4.39. Yeah, here in Maine, the aluminum wheels are really bad and have to be cleaned. Yeah, so I think we bought a car at the car auction somewhere out there, and it came from Maine, but it had gotten saltwater corrosion on it a long time ago when I worked at the car dealer. Yeah, so when I was at the tool show and they were demonstrating the Alltel S2 Ultra, or the Alltel Ultra S2 or whatever. Yeah, I can't remember which one for sure. It was the first version, so it wasn't the S2. That's one. But I asked him, I said, because sometimes it might be easier just to tote this around instead of the big multi-VCI communication lab scope, and it's also a JD 2536 or whatever number that is, pass-through device, which when I'm logged into the GM TDS, it says not to use anything but the GM MDI2. It says if you use a clone, you could get kicked off. All right, so I got one more update to do here on the X tool, so I'm doing that right now. Had to restart it. Pete makes sure he cleans everything. He's very meticulous about your new part is put in, or the tires being rotated, brakes, etc. Everything is cleaned. Yeah, I have to clean the wheel hubs, the mating surfaces, on all of them. But then I treat them with a fluid film or surface shield, and they've been in. I've had cars come back in that haven't been in for a while, and they're not corroded anymore. So that's working. Yeah, 2534 pass through. But when I was on, I do it on my MDI2. But it said, the GM said, if you use a clone MDI2, which I bought one of those first, and I'm like, well, we better not use this. But because it says on there that if you use that, you might get kicked off and not be able to use they might block you from using the AC Delco TDS. Well, yeah, I got a car coming in. He's going to drop it off, Michelle. Needs the computer programmed. What kind of car was it? I didn't even write it down. He's just going to drop it off. Lives here in town, but we gotta hook up to it, make sure that's what it needs, and then he's buying a new computer, so we're going to diagnose it, make sure it needs a new computer. But he's telling me he went to GM. He's a GM tech, but he doesn't work for GM. But it needs a computer programmed, and he's buying everything. He just needs me to do it. Leisure says our local Yoko sucks at mounting tires. They leak at the beads. Yeah, you got to clean them up, and then I either got a lube I put on them, or I got the bead sealer, depending upon how bad they are. Most of the time, that tire lube I got for mounting tires is what I put on it. But I'm nowhere near a professional, but I'm going to get the tire machine. I'm getting a cheap tire machine just like I get cheap everything else. I usually have pretty good luck with the cheap stuff. My transmission jack only costs like $150. And it's just the best thing I've ever bought. Katrina isn't hitting him hard enough. All right, so it says the X tool is up to date. It says it's up to date. I think it wants me to restart. I'm going to restart it one more time. It's still at 100%. That just shut it off. I'm going to restart it one more time, and then I'm going to see if I can find that AI function. Yeah, well, my knees. So I got a manual tire bead breaker, just a big bar you push down on the tire with. And I got to get down on my knees a lot, and my knees are really bad. The alloy beads always get pitted. Yep. A lot of times you'll have to use bead sealer. So we got bead sealer and the tire mounting lube, which is a paste. It's a tire mounting paste, put it that way. So most times I just clean them up, use that tire mounting paste, and we're good to go. Most of the time, I said not always, but most of the time I'll spray it down if I have any questions at all. I have denied putting a couple TPMS sensors in that were on brand new pickups. So I was like, nope, I probably don't want to take the chance of marring somebody's wheel up. So I told him, I just told him I recommended a shop to go to for him. So I can't remember where that, maybe you got to be connected to the car to get that AI function to pull up. Let me just look through here. But I know it had something on here about AI. Yep, it's got an AI assistant right here. But I remember the last time I went into it, it kind of locked up. Let's go to DTC analysis. I believe, yeah, I'm connected to the internet. So here it just kind of locks up. Doesn't do anything. I'm going to put P0. Oh, just off the top of my head, P0 128. Let's just do it. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything. It just says it's just got 3 little dots right here. I remember the last time I did this is where it got stuck here. It says deep thinking. The paste helps me. The paste might help with sealing. The paste may help with sealing. K-Tool has a deal going on the tire machine. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't want. I can get just a K-Tool tire machine cheaper without the balancer. I think it's like the one I want is like, I think it's like $1,400 or $1,600. Well, it ain't gonna throw a code for your TPMS sensor, but it's going to tell you that the tire is low and throw that light on that you were wondering about today. Daniel Roy 8411, is that a good scan tool? Yeah, I don't use this one very much. I use it for programming keys, but this one's fully updated, so the newer vehicles it works better on. But right now it's got the new AI function and I can't get it to work. AI generated content is for referencing only and does not represent official procedures. Please verify critical operation with official technical manuals. All right, maybe now I got it to work. Let's see. I asked it P0128, and that should come up with a thermostat or something like that. P0128, coolant temperature below thermostat regulating temperature. It's printing out a bunch of stuff here. All right, so I finally figured out how to use this. I don't know when it's going to stop printing out this. It's coming out with quite a bit of information here. A P0128 on a Chrysler minivan or the Pentastar 3.6 is always the thermostat. It's giving me step-by-step stuff here now. All right, this is pretty cool. I might have to start using the X tool or maybe buy an upgraded model of the X tool, huh? Does say it can be wiring. All right, I think it's done now. Let's see what it came up with. Nope, she's still deep thinking. Man, there's like pages of information here. Oh, okay, so I just didn't press the button right, and it did the last code I put in there too. But the PO128 coolant temperature below thermostat regulating temperature. So I guess, yeah, I always drive it on the Pentastars, and it's always low. So I put the computer on and read the data just to make sure. Every time, I don't think I've ever ran into a sensor problem or a wiring problem. It's always been the thermostat. Says it could be a low coolant level, air in the system, faulty thermostat, stuck closed. Well, I'm going to say it's stuck open. A malfunctioning coolant temperature sensor, wiring connector issue, failed engine coolant pump, ECM software flash issue. So now it's kind of telling me what to look at. Verify symptoms of engine idles rough, cold after warm-up period. Mill stays on. Coolant temperature gauge reads low. Do a visual inspection. Check coolant reservoir level, radiator for proper level, leaks, condition of hoses. Temperature sensor test. Locate the engine coolant temperature sensor. Usually on the intake manifold or cylinder head with the engine off. Disconnect the sensor. Measure resistance with an ohm meter. Typical values are 3K at 0 degrees or 0.5K at 100 degrees Celsius. Compare to manufacturer spec with engine running. Back pro sensor wires. Expected voltage should be at 90 degrees Celsius, should be 2.5 volts. Thermostat function test. Warm the engine up greater than 90 degrees Celsius. Observe coolant flow out of the upper radiator hose. A normal thermostat should open and allow flowing. If the flow remains blocked, the thermostat is likely stuck closed. Coolant flow check, wiring integrity, ECM communication. Now it's giving me a repair guide. Coolant level and bleed. Add top up with manufacturer specified coolant mixture of 50-50 to the full mark bleed system to eliminate air pockets. Run engine with heater on high. Open bleed valves. Watch for steady temperature rise. Inspect and replace the thermostat. Remove the thermostat housing. Drain the coolant. I think you got to drain the coolant before you remove the housing. Replace thermostat with the correct temperature rating, usually 190 degrees or 88 degrees Celsius for this engine. Install with new gasket and refill. Test and replace the ECT sensor. Repair wiring, water pump check, clear codes and verify. Final confirmation, recheck exhaust emissions if needed and confirm mill is off. Document work performed for future reference. That's pretty cool. There was a lot of information there. All right, so I figured out how to use the AI function on my X tool. So that made me decide not to buy the Moo car. The only reason I would need a new scanner is if that one ran out of updates, or if I just wanted to spend $5,000 for the Ultra. Maybe someday I'll buy the where you can use this one. I just don't like I got this one I can use with my phone. I don't like using my phone to read codes and do bi-directional codes and read data. I like having the launch is the perfect size for bringing in the car, driving down the road, watching your data. I do a lot of graphing now. I never used to do a lot of graphing, but now I do. So I graph everything and I take screenshots of it all. I got the Think car for free updates. Yeah, so that's one thing I've seen on the Moo car and the Think car. They have free lifetime updates. Which is a huge deal, especially for me being an economy-based shop. I don't want to pay for updates all the time. I don't want to buy a new scanner all the time. Although I see the new scanners and I want them. Daniel Roy, 8411. What do you do and where are you from? We all like to know what do you do and where you're from. Say welcome to the live stream. So yeah, especially for the do-it-yourselfer, or the average homeowner that works on their car, do-it-yourselfer, having a nice scan tool is great, but you would need one that you don't have to update all the time, or at least got free updates. That's what I meant, free updates. What? No way. Count me in 518. Yeah, I don't know what no way in you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about me? But yeah, the launch. So the launch is the workhorse. I even got a homemade app on here. Let me open up my app. So I could take notes. I got GM, Ford, Chrysler, Jeep, OBD, foreign, and reset. Let me see if I have any notes. Nope, I don't want to do that. Cancel that. Somewhere in here, there's a way to find the notes. Well, right here. 2022. A C0045, 2014 Impala. The rear wheel bearings, you need to check the reluctor and conductor ring on the backside for missing elements. That's in 2022. I made a note of that. So yeah, I got this app out here. This is my app. I made it myself. So we're just going to go back, pull up the X tool. Let's see if we can turn on the. Let's try the Alpha OBD. Yeah, so here's what the Alpha OBD looks like. I had to pay $50 for this software, but it's got Alfa Romeo, Fate Pro, Lancia, Alvarez, Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, Jeep, Puget, Gatorian, Maserati. So it can do all those. And then there's a lot of stuff in there that I can change. Let's go into the, let's go see if I can just pull up my Jeep Renegade. Yeah, we're not going to be able to go into it because it needs to communicate with the module. Let's just see what it does. It's going to say not connected, yep. But here, where is it? So right here, procedure to start. So you pull this down. TPMS, automatic high beam. What's something I can change on here that's really interesting? I changed the mileage on my Jeep. I did a proxy learn. Reset odometer. Reset service data. I can write service data. Change the nominal tire pressures. So that's just that module. If we go into that was for the instrument cluster. Let's go to the engine. And let's go into select control unit. Pentastar. Now let's go to the functions. Do stuff with the injectors. VVT actuators. Dual speed oil pump. There is something in here. I can change it. Cam crank relearn. Set engine RPM. ESI force monitor test. Right pinion factor. Set vehicle maximum speed. I can change how the governor. All right, must be in the transmission that I seen. There was some stuff I could change. ZF9 9-speed. Nope. Well, anyways, you get the picture. A lot of stuff you can do with the Alpha OBD. Work on family and friend stuff, but most, Daniel's saying he works on family and friend stuff mostly, but everyone has been getting newer cars lately, so the basic code reader wouldn't cut it, and I could only read basic data, but having a nice scanner has made things way easier, especially diagnostics. Yep. Yes, Michelle?
I was just wanted you to just focus on your comments at the same time. Sometimes get a little carried away.
Yeah, sometimes I get carried away. Yeah, so that I like this Alpha OBD, and it's come in handy on the Jeep because I was able to recalibrate. I bought a different instrument cluster, a big one with the big screen, and I was able to program that all into the vehicle and change the mileage on it. So that worked out for that because I called the Chrysler dealer and it was starting to add up to around $600, and I only got $50 in that. And then this is what the launch looks like. diagnostic history. It does ADOS. But it's really easy to use, and mine stayed working on me, JD. And I'm still sipping. I got a little sip of my root beer left. So one of my customers and viewers and YouTube followers brings me a bottle of root beer for every live stream lately. Well, this is number 10 bottles, and he brought us 2 of these. So that's really cool. And then I did the torque converter in the 2016 Town and Country, which worked out really well. I had no idea the pinion seal was inside behind the torque tube on this Buick Enclave. I just did not. I did not know. I thought the seal was going to be right out there at the end where the dry shaft went on. And I went to order the seal, and I'm like, that's really weird. So I went to the GM catalog, and it showed it, yeah, this part here is not supposed to have oil in it. So I cleaned it out the best I can. There's sealed roller bearings in the ends. Yeah, I did take the yoke off just to see if there was a seal in there, and it's not. It's just a sealed roller bearing. So then I took it off. It was pretty easy. The seal's right there. I'll make it bigger. And I already got the new seal in there, all cleaned up, ready to go. And then there's a gasket that goes around the flange. It's this 6-bolt flange. So I did that Saturday after the oil change, 8 oil changes that we had. So Saturdays are oil change day. I will do an oil change on your car if it's an emergency during the week. But I just like to keep them for Saturdays. And if we start getting more to 8, we're going to have Fridays become oil change day also. But right now I kind of need all the 5 days of the week to fix the problems that I find on the people's cars on Saturday. And people make regular appointments that they know there's something wrong with their car and they need to make an appointment. And usually when I make an appointment for somebody that says, well, my car's making a funny noise, usually we diagnose and fix it all in the same day. Same with the check engine light. If your check engine light's on, usually I diagnose and fix that all in the same day if you have an appointment. I tell the customer that when they drop the car off, I said, if it seems like it's going to be a large expense, I'll send you a text or a call. So we try to do economy-based, economic-based shop. Try to keep the labor rate down. I don't think I've always we send out quotes. So I always send everybody a quote if it's a bigger job. I'm always come in underneath the quote. So that's good because people like that when they're expecting to pay. Let's say you're expected to pay $350 and I do it for $300. They're always happy about that. Very, very rarely we'll go over the price of the quote. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that Jeep up here with the diesel in it. This is JD in Nova Scotia, Canada, working on a Jeep with a diesel. What else can I put up here? JD's parking lot, Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah, JD also worked on and these pictures were all made for the Thursday. But a Kia with a 5-speed, kind of weird. Make it fit for today. Yeah, it's like I can't remember. He said it's a cheap Grand Cherokee 2008, and he's 2 hours ahead of us, so it's past midnight there. He might have dozed off. Oh, I did. I forgot to get that video downloaded of the Mustang, the Cobra. But last last Thursday, he sent me a video of it doing a burnout. Look at that Mustang. Yeah, oh, he's still here. It's a 2008 a diesel. I can't remember what kind of diesel you said that was. It's on the tip of my. Not yet, but I'm getting there. Oh yeah, yeah. You're 2 hours ahead of us. Midnight there. So JD's got some interesting stuff he does. Yeah, where's your shop? The inside. Is that on this one? Yeah, this picture. That looks nice and clean. Looks like a pretty good work environment in there. I like it. Mercedes-Benz diesel. I think he said it was a 3.0 or something. Yeah, Michelle, I knew there was one I was forgetting. So JD sent me a video of the burnout with the Mustang. Of course, Shane, in Maine, it's 11:12. Now, Leisure's in Connecticut. Oh, what else can we show? Yeah, it's 10:12 here. We're in Central Time. Must be this picture. Michelle needs to make these zip tie holders. Maybe it's this picture. Yeah, it's this one in portrait. I could use another one. Some of my buddies seen it, they want one. And I think we could sell them. $10, right, Michelle? Who wouldn't buy a zip tie holder for $10? Yeah, she made this one. It's solid, it's durable, it's water resistant, waterproof. Yeah, they're windshield wiper packaging from Napa, which I saved up a bunch now so far. And then she hot melt glued it to some plastic corrugated board, like cardboard, but it's plastic. And they're on there because this second one from the left, I had to cut down for them 11-inch ties, and it is on there. It is glued on there. They're on there permanently because I had to cut it down, and I had a hard time. But I think it's cool, and she did a great job. She's worried about the we put a sticker on this one because it was mine, the custom car there, but we don't have to put any stickers on any of them. I'm always playing with these pictures. I'm always like, you gotta have a good value for your money. Yeah, I was talking to Deepak today, and he said he had to go to the dentist, Michelle, and he says it's his first time to the dentist, and he said all they wanted was his money. He said he went in today for cleaning or something, and it was an outrageous amount of money. It takes time and shop supplies. And I can even put a logo on it for the little extra. Yeah, you could, because we got a little vinyl machine. Yeah, if it came with a logo on it, then $20. I'm just thinking let's roll some out. I got a bunch of that corrugated plastic cardboard. I got a bunch of the windshield wiper packaging saved up. I saved it all for you, Michelle. Hot melt glue. We got plenty of that. Yeah, we got all the lights. I got the lights all finished in the motorhome. Let me find them. So it's all working. It's still working. The controller's all working, and I got the wires all tucked in and hidden. So you don't even know it's there. So that red light is an accent light, and it's LED strip, and we can change whatever color we want. We can have it go to the music. We can have it auto rotate up by itself. It auto turns on and auto turns off if your phone is in the vicinity. But just the other day, I'm like, we gotta finish this up. So I got out the hot melt glue gun, had Michelle help me, and we tucked all them wires into the trim, and I put a little dab of glue on each spot so it couldn't fall out. But they're kind of cool, and at night, that's all the kind of like mood lighting that we need in there. You can see what you're doing. She does have a little candle going on right there. So that's all finished up. Batteries, I do gotta kind of tie down the batteries on the driver's side. The passenger side is all tied in there. The 8D is all tied in on the passenger side. But the 8D on the driver's side, I gotta put a tie down on it or hold down. Hold down. I'll call it a hold down. So yeah. So at night after we're all done relaxing, watching some TV, she's got this light on, and then when we go to bed, the light's also on. So if you got to get up and go to the bathroom or whatever you got to do, you can see what you're doing. And the current draw on this LED strip is super low. Like I think it's less than an amp. There is a lot of LEDs. These LEDs are spaced 10 millimeters apart. And what's that run there? About 10 feet, Michelle? So that's all done. I was happy I got that done for her. Michelle says it's time for a beer. Yeah, I agree. Yep, we got the first one we got had a little remote control on it, and it burned out in one day. So I ordered one on Amazon. Came here. It said 2 day shipping, but it came in like in a week. So I put that one on there, and it's been good ever since. So I'm very happy about that. One less thing. The batteries are done, pretty much done. I'll have them finished up. I just got to make a hold down for the driver's side. So I just got to put the receiver hitch onto the front of it so we can bring the motor home. I got to repack the wheel bearings in the trailer. Check the bolts on the hitch, make sure they're not worn out, because they're outlawed now, but my hitch has a master cylinder built into it to apply the brakes on the trailer. Well, it kind of swings back and forth when you go or hit the brakes. I just want to make sure them bolts ain't got any wear on them. They're a 1/2 inch grade 5 bolt in there, and maybe I'll change them to a grade 8. So yeah, the motorhome batteries. Yeah, put these big 8D batteries in the motorhome. And we upgraded from the old batteries, these ones. Here's another. I never know which picture's on top, but here they are when they're installed. See the two little white strips? I have them in there on the 8D battery right now. And then I just used a little 2x2 or something right there between them. And these batteries were tall enough they really couldn't jump up. But the 8D is a little bit shorter than these. So I have to come up with a hold down. There was 4 of these batteries in there, and then I switched to the 2.8D. Yep, we're probably gonna cut her down shortly too, because Michelle's gonna cook me some supper. She said either that or I could have another one of those salami and cheese rolls you made me. That was pretty good. Plus, I didn't have much. I only had a few pictures. Didn't have much to talk about. My oil prices are still the same. They only went up that dollar a quart. And are they ever going to go down? No, they're never going down. Yeah, in the app you could change the colors and even make rhythm and have it on a timer. Probably more things you could do, but I haven't played around with it enough to know what all it does. Yeah, here's my oil prices. I'm not sure if the STP or the Parts Master or the Riley's went up anymore, but the Napa oil I get has stayed at that $24.55. No, oh, good night. Yeah. Uh, hope you have a better day. Hope things start looking up a little bit. Don't dwell on it. Dwell on it. Just remember the good things and keep working in the shop. That's all I can say. Just keep working in the shop. Have some friends come over, some family come over. So yeah, hope everything starts looking better for you. And I got you on my feed now. All your videos come up on my feed, so that's great. I'm watching them, I'm commenting on them, so enjoy them. You kind of looks like you do the same stuff I do, so that's pretty cool. Glad to have you on here. Everybody's experience matters. Creeper 6767 oil's up by 40%. Thank you, President. Yeah, oil did go up. Everything kind of went up here in the shop. Not only that, all my house expenses went up. I'm like my water bill went up. Everything went up. The light bill went up. Everything went up. And is it ever coming back down? No, no, it's not, because they know we'll pay it. They know we will. Uh, going out to eat, all them prices went up. Everything went up. Am I happy? No. Do I have to pass some of that along to my customers? Yes. We have not raised our oil change price. We have not. Even though oil went up, we still do it at the same price. So I haven't passed very much of it. Like if I get a wheel bearing from your car and that's gone up a couple of dollars, you gotta pay a little bit more. We can afford it, but we have no choice. Yep, we don't have a choice. I mean, basically, the only choice we have is when we vote, and I voted today. So I voted in the primaries. Our town had the primary today. Did it before the live stream. Well, of course I did. But I mean, as soon as I got done with all my work, I went home and cleaned up, voted, got a few supplies, came back here to the shop to get ready for the live stream. Where it's able to finish up early today. If I didn't have the live stream, I'd be cleaning in the shop, just sweeping the floor, cleaning the benches, everything. So yeah, I'm hopefully I could get a video on the Jeep Liberty engine tomorrow. I mean, doing a video on some fluid services. Yeah, maybe I could show you how bad the fluid is. I like to have a short video every day. Sometimes I don't get it. Really would like to have a long video, a couple of those a week. We have solar on our motorhome and house, and that helps a lot. Yeah, I have solar. I can't remember what you call it. It's solar thermal at the house, and PV. So the PV runs all the pumps for the solar thermal. But I get free hot water for about 6 months out of the year, or maybe 7. Yep, we all got to vote. I don't care who you are, but we all got to vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, and I hope you don't tell me how to vote, but we all need a choice, and that's our choice, voting. So Creeper 6767, where are you from? We always like to know where everybody is from. We just all like to talk about cars and just what's going on. Root beer. I got a customer that brings me some root beer. Let me show you the root beer. He brought me this Hank's root beer today. So every live stream, I start out the live stream by having a root beer, and today he brought me this one. He's brought me 10 bottles of root beer. Can you believe that? And his car is coming in on Thursday, a '63 Impala, and then I guess the change from the transmission. He's got somebody to take a look at that. It's supposed to be fixed before he brings it here, and then he wants me to take a look at the air conditioning. In the Midwest, yeah, we're in the Midwest. Well, we're planning a trip to go down to Florida, so that's why I was bringing up some of the motorhome stuff. And I couldn't afford to go on my. We were planning on being in Florida around this time, but I couldn't afford the gas to drive down there. So we had to. We're still saving. I still don't have enough, and I haven't been dipping into the saving money. We just aren't able to save as much as we probably should be able to. We are busy in the shop every day, a couple jobs a day. Like I said, I'm up to so today is the 11th, and I'm up to 25 invoices already for this month. So we're right on schedule, maybe a little bit ahead on our invoicing, which is great. What else can I show? What is the Jeep brakes? Oh yeah, here's Michelle's brakes on the Jeep, and I put FMC pads in here. But original Mopar pads had about 80,000 miles on them. She wore that pad down to, she wore it down pretty good. But we had to go on a trip, so I decided to, there's still a little bit left there, but I decided let's change these pads so we don't have no trouble on our trip. What's your take on ethanol percentage going up to 15%? Will it affect the rubber parts? Yes. Will you get less gas mileage? Yes. Will it affect anything that's corrosive? Yes. Like aluminum. Is it worth putting in? I've put it in some of my vehicles and I do not get enough gas mileage, so I switch back to the 10%. Oh yeah, Michelle, I'll put it on. She picked up a little cool. She calls it a tool, but I don't know if it's a tool. So I have to go get one more piece. So she went to pay her electric bill today, and they had this thing in there. So it's a little flashlight, and then you push this in, and it's got some bits in there, screwdriver bits, a 1/4-inch screwdriver bits. But they're so little, and they go right in this little hole. But I'm like, maybe we should put this in there. Well, it's got a little magnet on it too. So now you got a big Phillips screwdriver, but I told her it's not heavy duty because this is plastic. Like, this is very light duty, but it is kind of cool. Maybe these bits. I did need a number 3 Phillips today because I bent mine. So at least I got a number 3 Phillips I can use now. Yeah, so you got a flashlight with your screwdriver now. That's pretty cool. I just don't think that that's very strong. But it's kind of a unique advertising piece for the Save Energy and SpringValley.com. Okay, Save Energy and SpringValley.com. But she got one for herself and one for me, but it'll just sit here on my counter. But yeah, this is my screwdriver bit though. But the ones it comes with are these little ones. And it's a push lock. haha, yeah, it's great for in the car or apartment or something. I would say emergencies, but hopefully this will save you in your emergency. The flashlight probably will. But to make it useful, you got to have a longer bit. I'll try it out someday. We'll do a video. So she says she paid her electric bill, and those were sitting on the table, so I picked up a few. Yeah, their electric bills are pretty high over there. So that's why they're high. They're giving out stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't vote for none of that. Michelle didn't vote for none of that. But we get it anyways. So yeah, I'm all caught up. I don't even have a car outside I could bring in, besides one of my own or Michelle's, which we're gonna fix the Impala someday. Someday we're fixing the Impala. And it needs the rear struts and sway bar links, and engine mount, motor mount. I think it's almost due for an oil change. We only go 3,000 miles on that one. I put synthetic blend. So yeah, I got another easy day tomorrow. It's just 3 fluid exchanges, and I think that's it. 3 fluid exchanges on one vehicle. I don't think there's a coolant flush, but if there is, I can handle that too. I'll have to go look at the quote because we gave this guy a quote. And then whatever walk-ins come in, and the phone will be ringing. Oh yeah, I got to do the valve stem on, but that's pretty easy. I can handle that. That okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to use the valve stem because I have some that I pulled out of people's tires that are still good. So hopefully I can use one of those, or I can order one on Napa or something. I do not want to put a new TPMS sensor in there. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. I don't want to pay for it. Timmy does everything. How you doing, Timmy? Are you feeling better? Put some Fix-A-Flat in the Jeep. Yeah, I don't know. I can't understand how that valve stem is leaking like that. Like it's the rubber is compromised and cracked or something. I did try twisting it, and it made it worse. So she needed to use the Jeep today, so I didn't want to fully break it off. We're all doing good. Kind of winding down just a little bit. Benny brought us over. Benny brought me over some root beer. Look at that. That's 10 bottles of root beer Benny's brought over to me in the last few weeks. He's a great supporter of, well, at least my shop, and he'll come on here once in a while. He doesn't stay very long. Timmy said he's not really feeling better, but he'll be okay. Well, that's good news. I really do hope you start feeling better. Timmy's a race car driver from Louisiana. Yeah, Michelle hopes you get better too. Yeah, so it's been in the 80s. I've had to have the air conditioning on almost every day. Kind of off and off raining. You did race on Saturday. How did it go, Timmy? Creeper says, "How can a Dodge afford to sell a 392 Durango?" Yeah, I don't know. Things are out of control in the new car market, and the dealers around here are making a bad name for themselves. They're quoting really high. They're not doing correct diagnostics. They're telling people that there's stuff wrong with their car that ain't. It's terrible around here with the dealers, and the cars are made to be throwaway cars. This is what the dealers want. They want your car to last about 5 years. They don't want any major repairs done to it. They're going to stop making parts after they make that model, so you can't repair the car. And then they're gonna want you to recycle that car, like take it to the shredder and have it recycled properly. And they want you to buy another new car that only lasts 5 years. That's what they want. I came in fourth. That's awesome, Timmy. Timmy. Hobby stocks here in Deer Creek Speedway a couple weeks ago. Me and Michelle went to watch them. This is what our hobby stocks look like. Yeah, maybe you want to zoom in on it. They stopped them before the green for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's so everybody in the grandstands could take a look at all them cars. That'd be cool if they did a dig start. Everybody just takes off from there. Michelle, fourth is not good. That not good. I should be number one. Well, of course we all should be number one. Sometimes we just we can't all be number one. Well, I mean you're number one for sure, but we can't all just finish number one. How many cars do you race against? There's a lot of cars out there. Fourth place is respectable, very respectable. So it sounds like you go to every race with the plan to win it. That's a good thing to do. When I was racing, I came there to win. I didn't win very much. A couple times. It's top five. I think that's great. I think top five and top 10 are good. There's competition out there. A lot of people have good driving skills, and there's a lot of people that don't, that shouldn't be out there racing. But that's why the fans go, because it's exciting. Fourth out of 13. I mean that's still good. Creeper 50K for a 3-row SUV with a V8 is not a bad deal in this economy. Yeah, it's not, but it's still ultra expensive. Tahoe is about 25% more expensive. Plus, you get the free lifter failure. Yeah, or your rods could fly out on the 6.0s. Got to change them to 040 is what GM says. I was thinking we should just switch them to 530, but that was my thoughts. Actually, if you got one of those 6.0s, you probably take it apart and clearance the engine correctly. I guess they're under recall. No, I just don't think you get a good value for your money anymore. I was happy if we made the top 10. Yeah, me too. I was ecstatic. Some serious competition out there. Let me put up another picture here. So Leisure, it's probably huge. Yeah, I got it set up for landscape nights. Here's Leisure's asphalt modified. I always like to share the chat people and my followers, subscribers. Leisure sent me this picture, so I put it up there. He doesn't mind. Yeah, racing. There's some serious competition out there. No matter what you're racing, I think that's what I see whenever I go watch. I only watch them nowadays. I don't race anymore. Michelle wants to try racing, but we're gonna try to get the mod ready to go for practice some night. We got it switched over to E85 of this car. Well, there's 3 pictures here. So we got it switched over to E85. We got to get a set of tires, some safety equipment. I'm not sure. The engine seems pretty good. The oil's staying clean, so it hasn't been raced in 19 years. So not sure about the valve springs. I would like to replace them, but it's so expensive. It's going to cost us like I think we found some heads on Summit for around $3,000, ready to bolt on. But Michelle, I'd like to get Michelle out in the car on a practice night. That way she could realize that either she likes it or, hey, this thing's an animal and that was good for me. The only problem with that is I'd want to get in the car. I'd want to rip her around the track. I'd want to set new lap records and stuff like that. That's the only problem with getting the car going again. At practice, when you're out there by yourself, I might get pretty crazy. I remember at Cassid one night, I could almost hold it wide open all the way around in it's just bigger than a quarter mile, a dirt track. All right. So I'm thinking about, calling it a night, signing off, getting a little tired myself. And we're moving Thursday's live stream to 8 p.m. So they're all going to be at the same time now. So we're moving it up from 7 p.m. Central to 8 p.m. Central. So this Thursday night, 8 p.m., we'll have the landscape style long video format live stream. Because we work 8 to 8 here, so sometimes on Thursday night there's still customers coming in. So at 8 o'clock I'll be able to lock the door and not worry about it. But if I'm still open, and I keep the door unlocked until 8 o'clock. So yeah, I'm probably gonna sign off here and wish everybody a good rest of the evening, a good rest of the week. Thank everybody for coming. We had some new people come on tonight. You're all welcome, and thanks for coming. Glad you guys could share just a little bit. Sometimes we get people come on and we try to help them fix their cars or diagnose problems. Put it that way, we're not helping to fix the car, we're helping diagnose their problems. And it seems like JD's pretty good at it. I think we've helped a couple people. So that's cool, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I do here at the shop. I help people and try to do some YouTube videos to help people. Really try to help people. That's all I want to do, help people. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Michelle's kind of calling me in. She came in once and then she said something on here. Timmy does everything. A compact dirt car is often called a sport compact mini stock. Is an entry-level 4-cylinder production car modified for racing at the oval dirt tracks. That's what y'all need. Yep, I got a little Chevy Aveo now. The Aveo is mine. Should we make that into a, what do you call it, mini stock sport compact? There you go, that one. Where is my Chevy Aveo? Oh yeah, it's farther down here. So we got this car, Timmy, but it is a manual transmission. I don't know if I'd want that for sure. I suppose that would work good. I just don't want to do a lot of shifting. In a sport compact, you'd probably have to shift a little bit. You couldn't just leave her in high gear. But a manual transmission probably hold up better than an automatic. But anyways, I'm signing off. Calling it a night. Thank you guys for coming and putting me back on just so I could say goodbye. So good night, everybody, and have a great rest of the week. Thanks for coming. Glad you came. Hope to catch y'all on Thursday. So